So a language guide, think about this, advising Scots to stop using words such as mother and father to avoid being oppressive, has been published by a taxpayer-funded aid organisation. Scotland's International Development Alliance is behind a document which it says aims to help people avoid bias, stop reinforcing existing power structures, like, well, the family, because the family is to be destroyed. Any feeling of nationhood, any pride in one's locality, long-standing history, all that is to be eradicated. Absolutely. And convey respect. Among the words listed as problematic are girls, guys, mother, father. Instead, people are encouraged to instead use parent or guardian, along with colleagues and everyone. Terms such as third world and foreign aid are also frowned on. The inclusive language guide, well, that's all witchcraft, because they've just literally excluded everything that makes us human, everything about us that's been so successful for hundreds upon hundreds of years. Oh, no, no, no. That goes against collectivism, communitarianism, the 21st century version of communism. Absolutely. So this guide, which was published in February, states that only by talking about and reflecting on language can we hope to make it anti-oppressive, by instigating this pretty much into every organisation out there. And if you don't go with the flow, well, I'm sorry, you don't share our collective values, and you'll have to go. And of course, this will be absolutely by the day pushed into primary schools, never mind secondary schools, and of course colleges and universities. And you wonder why so many young people out there are giving up the will to live. Yeah? Critics say the guide is a way for red pencil wielding, that was so easy for me to say, zealots to enforce radical progressive dogma. I would argue critics never go far enough to actually say, well, actually, you're dealing with humanism, theosophy, the New Age movement. Yeah, you'll never hear that out of critics because, all sides are controlled. Even the ones who are the critics are basically there to tell you what you're actually looking at as opposed to what it actually is. Yeah? So the charity, which inclusively champions global sustainable development in Scotland, receives an annual grant from the Scottish Government. It would have been nice to know what that annual grant was. So SIDA's guide, which is aimed at its members such as non-governmental organisations and public sector bodies, offers alternatives for words that is deemed problematic. Imagine it, you're going to A&E, you're in A&E, and you say, I'm along with my mother. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't say those words. Meanwhile, you're bleeding on a chair. I mean, seriously, the witchcraft involved with this is astounding. But hey, let's just point out public politicians. That's basically the alternative media. That's basically it. So it advises against saying foreign aid, as it claims this paternalistic, even the language, paternalistic language implies an unequal power relationship marked by altruism, which denies the unjust distribution of resources that defines that dynamic. A better phrase, it suggests, would be social development finance. A spokesman for the Free Speech Union said the only word I'd ban is problematic. Yeah, it's an attempt to gloss over the fact that the real reason these red pencil wielding zealots want to ban words like mother and father is to enforce radical progressive dogma. No, it's to forward the goals of various interconnected occultist groups. Essentially interconnected death cults. You research it long enough and you can see the direction of travel, but hey. Anyway, I could read the rest of this passion. Oh, dear God. Anyway, let's read. And, I'm wasting my time even trying these days to put any kind of comment in. Seriously. I'd much prefer live in a world with the exact opposite of diversity and inclusivity. The opposite is uniformity, a peaceful existence of like-minded people with the same values, not a melting point of races that are forced to live together. And exclusivity Something deemed as exclusive is desirable, aspiration is healthy, while inclusivity is to the detriment of achievement. The UK was a much better place to live 40 years ago, absolutely, before forced diversity and the thought police took over. Well, it's not much that I could disagree with there. I am a mother and grandmother and proud of that. I'm also an auntie, sister, and love being called any of these family titles. Very special. I really object to the woke brigade trying to eradicate family, women, and everyone they in their narrow and non-inclusive viewpoint disagree with. Those people in the majority world who are part of groups who are vulnerable to their circumstances can go whistle the next time they have the begging bowl out looking for social development finance. That includes those that rock up to Europe in small boats, seacraft, who are not as big but nonetheless equal to other similar modes of transport. Does nobody actually work out? Nobody voted for this. Yeah, what you perceive as your government, wherever it may be, never asked for your input on any of this. They're not working for you. Anyway, as always, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, absolutely subscribe, and if you like what I do, how about buy me a beer or two? And I'll speak to you soon.